In the Sunflower, a Jew named Simon is working in a hospital as a part of his labor when asked to go and see an injured, dying Nazi named Karl. This Nazi proceeds to ask Simon if he could forgive him for what he has done, killing many innocent people. But instead of responding, Simon simply walks out of the room, unable to give this man an answer. What would you do?
Erich Loewe was a Jew who escaped from the Nazis in 1938. His stance on the situation is that Simon could not forgive Karl because he did not commit the crime directly against him. He also thinks that he is not able to forgive him because he's a priest. He is not a priest, nor is he a rabbi. I disagree with this because even though he didn't commit the crime against him, he committed the crime against his same religion and killed over 6 million of the people that he is associated with.
Alan Berger is a chairman of Holocaust Studies at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. He also founded a Jewish Studies program at Syracuse. Alan says that he would not forgive someone for whom forgiveness is forbidden. He says that Simon should not and could not forgive Karl on behalf of those who were cruelly murdered. I agree with Alan because it is simply not right to forgive the Nazis after almost eliminating the whole Jewish religion. To me, the Holocaust is not something that is forgivable.
Joseph Telushkin, an LA rabbi, an author and co-author of many Jewish books, says that the essential question in this situation is whether or not the Nazi is truly sorry for what he did. But we will never know the answer to that. All in all, Mr. Telushkin agrees with Simon because Simon cannot forgive him on behalf of all the Jews affected, and the apology may not have been sincere. I agree with Joseph because the apology needs to be sincere for Simon to actually forgive it. And also, Simon could not have forgiven him for everything that he did.
There are a variety of responses that could have been given to Karl. One is no, because he was not sincere in his apology. Another reason why people would say no is because they cannot forgive him for everyone that he affected. Then the other possibility is yes, that he should be forgiven. Dalai Lama took up that position. Our three authors, Erich Loewe, Alan Berger, and Joseph Telushkin, all said no, Karl should not be forgiven, and that was for a variety of reasons.
Simon is faced with a difficult decision, or not so difficult, depending on how you look at things. He could either forgive Karl and let him die in peace, or he could not forgive him, which would be a very valid option considering what Karl did to Simon's people. In this situation, I would not forgive Karl. I can't even imagine being in the same room with someone that killed so many of my people and him asking for forgiveness for me. I just don't see that being possible. Maybe I'm being too close-minded about this situation and not seeking out what God would want me to do or think, but I wouldn't have forgiven him. From what I have learned, a mortal sin is completely turning away from God, and that is exactly what I believe the Nazis did during the Holocaust. If I were personally put into this situation, I would not forgive Karl. I also would have left the room without saying anything, but I know I would not be able to forgive him. I wouldn't be able to forgive him because he aided in the killing of over 6 million of my people. I couldn't have forgiven him because of the possibility he killed my best friend or my family members. Even if God was able to forgive the Nazis and everyone involved in nearly wiping out the entire race, I believe they still need the forgiveness of the people they committed the crime against.
I believe that it is very difficult to say what I would have done in this situation because of the emotion that I would have felt and the complexity of the situation. But going with my instinct, I would not have forgiven Karl. Although we are taught in Catholicism that forgiveness and mercy should always be given, I disagree. If one does not have the proper means and power to command a just forgiveness, then it should not be given. In this situation, I would not have been able to speak on behalf of the people he has killed and the lives he has ruined. It is only in those people's power to forgive. I believe that people who are sincerely sorry for what they have done deserve to be forgiven, or they must seek that forgiveness from either the person they committed the sin against or take it up with God. This is important because speaking for another person is never right, and if someone tries to, then an incorrect message is most likely conveyed, giving someone else an improper understanding. I believe that in this situation, God would call Simon, or anyone, to counsel Karl and tell him that it would be incorrect to offer him forgiveness, and that at this point, if he is truly sorry, he should ask God to give him mercy.